All right, everyone, welcome to tonight's show. I hear from every college girl that I speak to that she wishes she had more time to eat healthier and work out in college, but has no clue how to balance the two. If you find yourself having to give up feeling good in your body for a higher GPA, then go ahead and pull up a chair and tune in to tonight's show, because I have Les Alfred on the show from the Balanced Black Girl brand, an online community dedicated to helping women of color live their healthiest lives. So tonight, this is another episode of SheRocks College Live. I'm your host, Clarissa, and this is a show that happens every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it was designed to allow college women in their 20s and 30s to meet each other over chat while being exposed to different ideas, models, strategies that will help them not only succeed in college, but in life. So let's go ahead and get into the show. Hey Les, welcome to the show. I'm so happy to have you here.
Hi Clarissa, thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
You're so welcome. So for those of my followers who don't know who you are, I'd love for you to kind of share a little bit about your story and how you got started with helping now specifically women of color live their healthiest lives.
Absolutely. So like Clarissa said, my name is Les. I am a personal trainer and fitness coach. And I have an online brand that has transitioned to what is now Balanced Black Girl, all about wellness for women of color, even though I believe wellness is for everyone. And so I've been a personal trainer for the past 5 years, but I was really excited to come on the show today because I started getting interested in fitness and health and nutrition when I was in college. And when I was in college, that was really when I set some of the habits that I still follow to this day that have helped me live a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, and I remember that when I first came across you, we were both like Tone It Up girls, and I think that's how we ended up connecting. I was still in nursing school at the time, and I think you were thinking about going to grad school, or you were in?
Yeah, I was going to go back to school to be a dietitian.
Yeah, that's
so I was
what it was.
Community college taking prereqs to apply for grad school.
Yeah. So you've come a long way.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to start off this interview. So I definitely want to get into the tactics, but I think it's really important for us to have a conversation on the culture, the beliefs and the shoulds that really surround healthy living in general, because I think that we all have this idea or this perception, these expectations of what healthy living can be like. And I think that's what really deters a lot of college students from continuing with their healthy lifestyle when the semester starts, is that they feel like it just requires too much. So I'd love to kind of hear what your definition of living a healthy life is and how you see it sort of changing in the environment that we're in now.
Absolutely. I think that's such a good question and such a good point, because it can be very easy to feel like fitness and health and paying attention to what you eat can be a form of punishment. That's the way we're kind of sold to it, of, oh, if you have dessert or if you have drinks or whatever it is, you need to go burn it off, you need to work it off, when really I view fitness and wellness very differently. So when I was in college, I had a really busy schedule. I now, several years out of college, still have a busy schedule, but I actually wouldn't be able to keep up with that schedule if I didn't exercise and eat well. So I see wellness and my wellness habits as enabling me to perform in all the areas that I need to perform.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that you say that, because my thing now is I'm telling every college student that I work with that energy is not going to just show up in your house wrapped up in a pretty little box every single morning. You have to create it for yourself. The only energy that we're built with as humans is the energy that we need to pump blood through our bodies. If we were laying down in a bed and the only movement we were doing is blinking.
Yep.
Everything else comes from the things that we're doing in our environment. And I think that the reason why students will let their health and fitness go in place of studying longer and doing what it is that they need to do is because they feel like it's not aiding, it's not helping in their lives. It's only taking away time that they feel like they don't have. And this is something that I specifically see in the college women of color who I speak with, because they're the number ones that will tell me, like, this has been on my goal list for like every single semester. I always promise myself that I'm gonna like stick with my healthy lifestyle, and I'm also gonna keep up with my grades. And as soon as I start getting stressed, the first thing to go is working out. The first thing to go is, you know, meal prepping. The first thing to go is anything that has to do with my physical, mental, and emotional well-being. And one question that I have for you is, I'd love to kind of hear from you, what are some of the obstacles that you see with the college women that you've worked with in the past, or that you encounter, and specifically women of color and their mentality around healthy living?
Yes, definitely. I'll answer this in kind of a two-parter. So I think for young college women specifically, it can be really hard to prioritize healthy living when you have so many things on your plate. If you're going to school, if you have to study, for a lot of people, and I know this was me and you, when you're working through college, sometimes multiple jobs, you're trying to do all of the things, and it can be hard to fit that in, on top of also wanting to have a social life, because having a social life is a huge part of college. So that can be a really big challenge. And I think even especially for women of color, we're really taught to take care of everyone else first. We want to be everything to everyone. We want to be involved in every activity. We kind of feel like we need to prove ourselves more than other people sometimes. So that means we go twice as hard, we do twice as many clubs, we have twice as many jobs, and it adds an extra layer of kind of pressure to do all of the things.
And I was listening to your podcast recently, because Les has a podcast that she just started, and you were talking about that, in how it's referred to, it's an actual like an actual medical term of superwoman syndrome, and there are a lot of studies being done around it. And I think it really comes down to, like, we are taught from very little that if we want to be recognized and seen, we can't just be good. We need to be great, and like even better than, you know, the white counterparts that we're going to school with, which puts even more pressure on us. And a lot of college women of color, they are not your traditional college students. They are probably first gen, right? There are family,
I know I was.
Yeah, so was I. And then there are family pressures, because you're not only expected to do well in college, but also contribute, right? So you're expected to have a job so that you can help out the family. And all of those things really impact the way that our not just like our mental well-being, but like our health in general. And so it comes down to choosing between, I'm either going to help my family, I'm either going to succeed in college, or I'm going to take care of myself. And what's the first thing to go?
Always taking care of ourselves. Always.
So what are some of the mistakes that you see women making when it comes to changing their lifestyle from one that is not helping them to live out their best life to one where they're now starting to focus more on working out and eating healthy? What are some of the things, some of the mistakes that you see them making right off the bat?
Oh, I think the biggest mistake, and this is for women of all ages, like in college or outside of college, is thinking that it has to be all or nothing. Thinking that if you don't do everything perfectly, if you don't have time to work out for a full hour, then why work out at all? If I didn't stick to eating healthy, if I had a treat, then throw in the towel. What's the point? I'm just going to go all the way hard. Fitness and wellness is not linear, and I think a lot of us think it is. We think that every time we're just going to make a better decision, and it's always going to be on the up and up, when in reality it's kind of like this. You'll have phases where you're more into it, you have more time to work out, phases where you maybe have a little bit less time. There's peaks and valleys, but what you really need is just a baseline of steady habits that you build into your day, so that whether you're kind of on a high where you're on a big wellness kick, or maybe if you are really having a stressful time and can't devote as much time to it, you still have kind of that foundation of habits to stick to.
And what are those habits that you're talking about?
Yes. So for me, the biggest habits are drinking enough water. Number one, that is the easy. No matter how busy you are, everyone can drink water. drinking water, incorporating regular movement into your day. So even if you don't have time to work out for a full hour, can you take a 10-minute walk on your lunch break? Can you go for a walk while maybe you listen to a lecture on tape or listen to a book on tape so that you're still studying and getting in information, but you're literally up and moving? Or even if you do like a 15-minute workout, if you don't have time to go to the gym for an hour, a 15-minute workout is actually still super effective. So just moving your body throughout the day. In terms of healthy eating, I know healthy eating in college can be really, really tricky because if you still live in a dorm or on campus, you may not have as much control over what you eat if you don't have a kitchen to prep in, or even if you're balling on a budget like I was in college. I know how it goes. Even if you just try to incorporate like a vegetable and a produce item into every meal that you have, that's a really good way to get good nutrition in your diet, even if you don't have a ton of flexibility with having like fresh food all the time.
Mm-hmm. So one thing that came up for me when you were speaking, and I'm sure this is probably going through everyone's mind, is like, I feel like 10 minutes isn't going to help me to lose weight. And so what is the point?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The point is our bodies are designed to move. They're designed to be up, to be moving. We're actually not designed to be sitting all day. And I will let you all in on a secret. I've been a personal trainer for almost 6 years. I'm in a really busy phase in my life, and I've literally been working out for like 15 minutes a day in my basement. No joke. Check my Insta story if you want to see the like 10-minute workouts that I'm doing. That's literally it. And my body really hasn't changed because it's all about just getting your heart rate up, getting moving just a little bit, and then you cement that habit so that maybe when you're on winter break, or maybe if next semester you have a little bit more of a flexible schedule, you already have that habit of getting up and moving, but maybe you can just move for a little bit longer, right? So that is going to help you. Something is always better than nothing.
Right, and it's not always about losing the weight. And the way that I think about it is that the only way that I can guarantee that I'm not going to lose weight is to not do anything. So
exactly.
So if I move for just 10 minutes, that's better than not doing anything. But at the end of the day, the real reason why we focus on the weight loss is because we want to feel a certain way in our bodies. But exercise alone, eating healthy alone can actually do that when you don't attach it to a number on the scale and when you don't attach it to a weight. And what I want to and who follow SheRocks College, who are a part of our community, is to see food and exercise as a way to improve their performance and not a way to improve the way their body looks in a dress. That's a bonus when that happens. You know what I mean?
Yep, exactly.
And I don't know if like that's a similar philosophy that you have, but I the moment that I started to change my mindset around eating healthy and exercising in the sense that like I'm eating to fuel so that I could do 5 calls in a day, or so that I can go and deliver 12,000 babies and all of that kind of stuff. And so that I can sleep better at night, because exercise has been proven to allow you to sleep better. So that's something that I'm going to throw out there. I see the weight loss as a bonus, and it's the reason why for the first time in a really long time I've been consistent with working out. Like I'm celebrating 9 weeks today, where before I would have quit because I'm like, well, the scale isn't moving, I'm not losing any weight, but I'm noticing how much more energy I have throughout the day to be able to concentrate and do the research that I need to do to be able to teach students. So another question that I have for you is, so we talked about drinking more water. We talked about moving 10 minutes a day. We talked about at least 10 minutes a day, regular movement, even if it's just a walk. What would you, so beyond that, let's say that there is a college student who is already doing that. What are some other places where students who want to start living a healthy lifestyle can start, and how can they incorporate it into their daily lives?
Yeah. So I think another place that you can start with getting healthier habits is getting your friends involved, making it a social experience. And this was one of the things I first started working out when I was in college. And this was one of the things that really helped me is I would say to my girlfriends, okay, yes, let's hang out on Friday after class, but instead of going to the cafeteria and having pizza, let's take a workout class together. Let's go for a walk together. Let's sign up for this aerobics class together, so that you're not sacrificing your social life. It's still really fun. Like, me and my friends, none of us were in very good shape at the time, and we were all just like laughing at ourselves together, and it made it way less intimidating. We still got to hang out. We still got our social time. But we were also all getting healthier in the process. One of the other things that you can do is to see if your school offers workout classes for credits. So that's what I did. For credits. My school offered, they called them PE classes, but I signed up for an aerobics class. I think it was like my last semester of college, where I actually got credit to take aerobics class. So it was like I had my butt in aerobics 2 times a week so that I could get those credits. So that's also something worth looking into, because then, okay, you're getting credits, helping your GPA, and you're also going to be more accountable to show up and actually do the workout.
Yeah, I didn't realize that they had those classes. I mean, I know that they had like PE classes for the PE majors, but I didn't realize that that they were like just an aerobics class. I thought that they were classes that actually taught you on dietetics, or on specifically how to build a workout, or how your physiology works when you're working out. I didn't realize that you get credit for like those types of classes. That's really cool.
I got credit for an aerobics class. I got credit for a yoga class when I was in college. Oh yeah.
Talia Simone says that she's actually taking one for credit right now. So that's really cool.
Yes, I love it, Talia.
And then Deja says that she loves drinking water, and she's known to be a water baby. That's how people, I guess, recognize her, which is really
love
cool.
it. Yeah.
I do want to mention that we are live, so if you have any questions for Les on, I keep saying your name, Les, because I want to say Lestrandra, but then I'm like, then I cut it short. If you have any questions for her on healthy living, on how to incorporate it into your lifestyle, make sure that you leave them down below, and we'll have her answer them if they come in on time. The next question that I have for you is, what are some obstacles you hear college women run into when they're starting their healthy living? So not the mistakes, but the obstacles. So they've started the process, and it's midterm season. Yep. And there we go.
Yep, exactly. I mean, I think the number one obstacle, especially for college women, is one, feeling like you don't have time, or two, maybe not knowing what to do. So, okay, I've kind of carved out time to work out, and I keep doing the same workouts over and over. So what should I do? I feel like those are some of the most common obstacles that young women face. And I think for the first one, in terms of feeling like you don't have time, I think it can definitely be okay to scale back on workouts if you're under a lot of stress, if you don't have a lot of time, or to do things that are maybe a little bit more meditative. So really focusing on walking, really doing yoga, and not feeling like you have to do super high intensity workouts, because that's also not good for you if you're under a lot of stress, but really scheduling it in. So even if it's busy, it's midterms, you can only do it 2 times a week, or maybe if that means, don't kill me, you wake up a little bit earlier and do it in the morning before your day starts. I know it's painful, but it's something that I started doing when I was in college that now, way later, I still do because I started doing it back then. Getting creative with your schedule and really scheduling it in can help if you feel like you don't have time. If you feel like you don't know what to do, then that's when it's time to go to resources of what's available, because there's this thing called the World Wide Web. There's so much information out there. There's so much free information out there of people who put up workouts. Like, I know I post workouts on my Insta story every day. On YouTube, there's countless videos, Pinterest, countless workouts, that it can be really easy to go find things to do. So I also think if you struggle with knowing what to do, have a plan ahead of time. Search out that workout that you want to do ahead of time and go to the gym with a plan, or go to your workout place with a plan, so that you don't like wander around feeling like you don't know what to do.
That is really great advice, and I tell my students that saying that you don't have time or you can't find the time is bullshit. It's a choice, right? So I'm glad that you also reiterated that. There is a student on here who has exercise-induced asthma, and she's wondering, for her, how can she get more movement in the day without exacerbating her condition?
Absolutely. So I think for her, she can try doing things that are a little bit lower intensity. Strength training could also still be really, really wonderful. So doing workouts with light dumbbells and body weight movements, not necessarily things that are high impact. So don't necessarily worry about doing really hard HIIT workouts or hard cardio or things that are going to get your heart rate up too much, but still doing strength training exercises to really challenge your muscles is still a great way to get moving that shouldn't trigger your asthma.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What is the minimum amount of time that you would suggest for students to exercise if they're doing it for weight loss purposes, but again, they're short on time? What are the different types of workouts that would be most effective, and then the shortest amount of time?
Absolutely. So the two main types of exercise that I recommend for everybody, but that is also still effective for weight loss, would be high-intensity interval training, not for our friend with exercise-induced asthma, because that's a special case. High-intensity interval training. So that is where you're doing a short workout that is really high intensity. You're doing high-intensity periods of work followed by short periods of rest for a short amount of time. Workouts like that are really, really great because they're good for your metabolism. They help you retain lean muscle mass, and they're good for fat burning. Usually for HIIT, you can do them in 30 minutes or less. Honestly, more than 30 minutes is going to be counterproductive because it's going to send your cortisol levels, your stress levels up higher than you want. The second type of exercise that's good for everybody, but also good for weight loss, would be strength training. So you want to have as much lean muscle mass, and ladies, don't be scared of muscle. Muscle is a great thing, yes, especially if you're in college. Like if you're in your late teens and early 20s, oh my gosh, strength train now and you will be set for life. You are young enough to have like peak muscle mass, and the more lean muscle you have when you're younger, the more you will retain it when you're older. So if you see older women who oftentimes it seems like they say, I turned 40 and I keep gaining weight. No matter what I used to do doesn't work anymore and my metabolism is gone. It's not because, when you turn 30 or when you turn 40, all of a sudden your metabolism just goes away. What happens is after the age of 30, every decade, you lose more and more lean muscle mass unless you're strength training to keep lean muscle mass. And the more muscle you have, essentially the more calories your body burns even at rest. So the more muscle you have, the higher your metabolism is. So it's really great while you're young to strength train and build that lean muscle, because the more muscle you have when you're younger, the more you will retain throughout the rest of your life.
I wish I would have known this. I feel like I did, but I just didn't listen. Whatever. I just turned 30, so I'm old. That's it. I'm old. I'm 30. There is like no. I haven't even had any kids yet. This is just going all downhill from there.
Oh, it's not.
So we have people asking about nutrition.
Yes.
So I know that you talked about it a little bit at the beginning. Okay, so I'm trying to think about this from the perspective of somebody who's like brand new to healthy living and not trying to overwhelm them. So if there was somebody who, let's say for example, their choice is like, I want to ease my way into exercise. That's not where I want to start. I kind of want to focus more so on the food aspect of it, what I put in my body. Where would you have somebody who wants to focus their start? Again, considering that they are probably working 2 jobs in school and that kind of stuff.
Yep, absolutely. So I think a really great thing that you can do before you even change anything about your diet would be to keep a really simple food journal just of what you eat and how you feel afterwards. So what this does is it helps you understand, one, like what ingredients are in your food, what are you consuming regularly, and then you'll be able to see patterns of, oh, after I ate that sandwich for lunch, I was actually super tired and struggling to stay awake in my next class, or, oh, after I ate, that chicken with veggies for dinner, I actually felt pretty energized and I was able to stay up for a while at night studying. Like, take down those notes so that you can see how your body feels after you eat certain foods. Do that for maybe a week or 2 just to get some patterns to draw correlations between what you eat and how you feel. From there, I actually recommend adding food to your diet instead of trying to take things away. So my best tip when you want to start eating better is to every week add like one new, be it healthy produce item or healthier, whole, unprocessed food to your diet each week. Every week, just add a new healthy unprocessed food. Generally, I recommend a produce item because produce is still pretty cheap and it's something easy to add on the side of a meal. And over time, what you'll see is that you'll actually start replacing some of the more processed, like less healthy foods with the healthier items. So because you had kept that journal where you could see how certain foods made you feel, you'll kind of know what to replace with what. And over time, you'll find it's actually a lot easier to start eating better.
I love that tip. Because I would not have given that. I would have gone with the other route. Like I would have said, eliminate one thing every single week, but then that just makes you feel deprived. So I think that other way is so much smarter and a lot easier for college students to be able to, or someone who is just starting on their healthy journey to be able to sort of stick to, because they don't feel like they're missing out on anything.
Totally.
I want to hear your thoughts on snacks because a lot of the college women that I talk to, they use snacks to kind of help keep their energy and attention up as they're reading through their textbook and taking notes. So what are some really good snack alternatives that students can munch on while they're reading their textbook or working on a paper?
Yeah. So what I'm about to say is controversial. I'm actually not a huge fan of snacks personally.
What?
I know. We've been told to eat mini meals all day, and if you just keep grazing throughout the day, then your metabolism will be higher. That's what we're told. From my experience with myself and with a lot of clients that I worked with when I was still working with clients, it's actually the opposite is true. So I found that when I tried to eat mini meals all day and snack all day, I actually found myself overeating because I was never full. Like, I was never satisfied. I would just kind of snack, pick. Even like multitasking of snacking while studying, I'd be kind of snacking, kind of studying, not really paying attention to what I was eating or how much. And before I knew it, there goes the whole bag of chips gone. Yeah. So I actually like having bigger meals that are actually more satisfying, that hold me over for longer amounts of time. One, I find that I'm able to better listen to my hunger cues that way when I let myself actually get hungry and then eat a meal that is like a good size meal with enough food where I'm full and satisfied. And two, I actually found my digestion has been a lot better, because if you're just constantly shoving food in your face and you never give your body a break to actually digest the food that you've eaten before you just start eating the next thing, it can actually be really taxing on your digestive system. All that to say, snacking is not bad. I just don't think that, I think in our society, we've been taught to rely on snacks and like never be hungry ever. Yeah. When sometimes it's okay to be a little bit hungry, and then you have a really satisfying meal that you're full and satisfied from, and then you can kind of keep it pushing and not have to worry about it. So that's kind of my initial bone to pick with snacking. However,
that's fine. No, I love it.
I do think that snacking can still totally be fine if you're up late, if it has been a while since your last meal, but you're not really feeling a heavy meal. I like to kind of either have mini meals. So I like, if I'm meal prepping, I'm not the kind of person who like meal prep different things to put in like mini containers throughout the week. I'm more so the kind of person where I will meal prep like a batch of something. And if I'm hungry for a snack, then I'll just have a smaller portion of it instead of like a bigger portion of it. Gotcha. I just really cannot go wrong with eating like fresh produce, fruits and veggies as snacks can be really, really great. Focusing on sources of protein, whether that's something like string cheese is a really great snack because it's a nice light protein, and healthy fats. Those things are going to keep you fuller for longer, and they're going to keep your energy level steady. So if you focus on having like a carby snack like chips or pretzels, what happens is your blood sugar spikes and then it crashes and you get tired, and it's going to be harder to stay up and focus to study. So if you do have snacks, I recommend having things that have protein and healthy fat, nuts, nut butters, string cheese with a piece of fruit, or fruit with nut butter, or veggies and hummus, things like that that will keep your blood sugar steady.
Nice. What meal would you suggest students start with if they were going to start incorporating like healthier stuff? Which one do you find is typically the easiest?
Oh, I would say lunch, because there is this pit of the day, kind of between the 3 to like 5 o'clock hour before dinner, that is kind of, I call it like the witching hour. I guess that's 2 hours. But If I don't have like a good satisfying lunch, I will turn into like a bottomless pit of junk food in the afternoon and get super hangry. So I think having a nice satisfying lunch, don't be afraid to add more protein to your lunch. Don't be afraid to add more healthy fat to your lunch so that you're truly satisfied throughout the afternoon. That way you don't get the post-lunch slump, you're not falling asleep, and then you don't get as hangry.
Yeah, I love it. I would have said breakfast only because I'm obsessed with breakfast. It's my favorite meal of the day. And like I feel like when you throw veggies and eggs, it makes everything healthy.
Totally.
Even if you have a huge pancake with chocolate chips next to it, because your omelet had some veggies in it, it's totally healthy.
You're getting some protein.
Yeah.
Totally.
So Terry is saying that this was so needed. So thank you so much for being on with us tonight, Les. So here's the thing. I know that you have some workouts on your blog. When I was checking it out earlier. And I would love for you to share with my community where they can go to get really simple tips and even workouts that they can use in 15 minutes a day, 25 minutes a day, or whenever they can fit it in, so that they don't have to go through trying to find where to get healthy meals from. They don't have to worry about where to find workout programs. They have it all in one place.
Totally. Oh my gosh, so many things. So on my old blog, The Balanced Berry, I did have in the kind of the archives there a lot of workouts that I posted from over the years, tons of workouts, printables, videos that can be found there. And then nowadays, more currently, I always share my workouts on my Instagram stories. If you guys find me on Instagram, I'm at BalancedLess. I usually will share my own workouts on my Instagram story every day, and then I add them to my fitness highlights. You can go in and screenshot the instructions for all of my super quick workouts that I do there. So those are like the two ways to find my workouts.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know I've been watching you work out in the morning.
In my basement.
Yeah, in your basement. So that's awesome. So is there anything that you want to tell everybody before we let you enjoy the rest of your work day? I don't want to take up any more of your time, and I appreciate you being on.
Yeah, thank you. One other thing that I would love to say is that another big part of college is the social aspect, which is so much fun. I was definitely a party girl when I was in college, so I'm not going to be here and judge anybody. But I don't want anyone to ever feel like if you're planning on doing a night drinking, that you should like save your calories for it or forego eating to drink. You can still absolutely have a good, satisfying meal. In fact, you should. Please, please, please still eat if you plan on doing any drinking. Still eat. You can still enjoy your time, but always, always eat. Alternate a drink with a glass of water so that you can stay hydrated, but please don't do the like saving my calories for drinking thing, because that is so bad for your health. And
your liver.
It's so bad for you. So it breaks my heart when I hear young girls say that. So don't do that.
I used to do it all the time too.
Yeah, I know. It breaks my heart.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for being on tonight. You guys, again, can check out Les at The Balanced Les on Instagram. You can also check out her podcast, The Balanced Black Girl Podcast. It is on iTunes. And are you on Google at all?
Yes, iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play.
Perfect. She has some really good episodes on there. She's bringing in a lot of guests that are talking about their own health and fitness journeys, which is super inspiring for me. I was listening to the one with that the girl who was a power lifter recently.
Oh yeah, Chrissy King. She's wonderful.
Yeah. So that was amazing. So go and check her out. She's amazing. And thank you, girls, for joining us tonight. That concludes our show. Bye.
Thank you.